इसको अभी, हाँ यार, आई कैन नॉट स्टार्ट बिफोर टाइम ना। हाँ मतलब 7:30 पे, 7:30 का तो वेट करना पड़ेगा। अभी क्या, वी आर लाइक 5 minutes to 7:30।
No, 10 more.
10 more minutes to 7:30, that's all right. Coming and I will try my best कि ये शाम आपको याद रहे। आइए आइए सवानी साहब। तो दोस्तों, हम लोग ये जो बियॉन्ड मेडिसिन की बात है, इस पे हम लोगों ने अभी तक 18 टॉक्स कर चुके हैं, एंड दिस इज द 19th टॉक। एंड एज यू कैन सी दैट ऑफ लेट वी आर जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट बुक्स। टुडे वी आर टॉकिंग द कंक्लूडिंग पार्ट ऑफ बुक ऑफ जॉय। नाउ बिफोर आई डू दैट, लेट मी ब्रीफली शेयर विद यू। आप लोगों ने, कुछ लोगों ने देखा होगा ये, तो क्योंकि हम इसको कहते हैं कार्डियोलॉजी एंड बियॉन्ड, तो कार्डियोलॉजी पे भी 2 मिनट तो हेल्थ के ऊपर बात करते हैं, एंड देन विल क्विकली गो टू द बियॉन्ड पार्ट।
सर, शुड वी गो टू अ स्पेशलिस्ट फर्स्ट
और गैस्ट्रोएंटरोलॉजिस्ट के पास चले जाएंगे तो आदो की एंडोस्कोपी हो जाएगी। लेकिन हो सकता है कि अगर फिजिशियन के पास जाते तो वो सबको ऐसे ही ठीक कर देता। तो अब लेकिन अब ये है ना कि अपने पास तसल्ली नहीं है, धैर्य नहीं है, तो फिजिशियन को गाइड करना चाहिए।
फैमिली फिजिशियन फर्स्ट एंड देन गो टू द स्पेशलिस्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू द एडवाइस।
जी, एक बात मैं और कहना,
व्हाट अबाउट गूगल डॉक्टर?
कभी भी आपको रिलैक्स तो नहीं करेगा। अगर आप किसी भी लक्षण की वजह से गूगल के पास गए और आपने जाके देखना चाहा, तो आपका ब्लड प्रेशर तो पक्के से आप बढ़ा देगा गूगल करके। तो वो कोई बहुत ज्यादा रिएश्योरिंग चीज है नहीं। डॉक्टर संदीप ने कहा, बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, कि आप शुरुआती तौर पे थोड़ा बहुत उससे जो एडवांटेज ले सकते हैं, सीखने के लिए, सुधरने के लिए, वो ठीक है। डॉक्टर को सुधारने के लिए नहीं, और डॉक्टर का रिप्लेसमेंट भी नहीं ना। तो डॉक्टर का रिप्लेसमेंट नहीं हो सकता, एक फैमिली फिजिशियन होना चाहिए। तो एक फैमिली फिजिशियन हो, उसकी सलाह ले और बता दें कि भाई मेरे मन में ऐसी ऐसी बातें आई है, ये मैसेज आया था, ये आया था, थोड़ा बहुत पूछ ले। पहले तो आपको ये मान नहीं लेना चाहिए कि जो भी व्हाट्सएप इस आपने छपाए या टीवी पे आ रहा है तो कोई चैनल ने बताया, कि व्हाट्सएप का क्या सोर्स है? व्हाट्सएप का कोई सोर्स नहीं। तो इसलिए
एंड व्हाट्सएप। द थर्ड क्वेश्चन वाज,
तो आप ये हम सबको बताइए कि where is it that we need to be conscious?
10 में से 7 मरीज जो किसी भी तरह के छाती के दर्द को लेकर अस्पतालों में जाते हैं, हिंदुस्तान में नहीं दुनिया भर में, उन्हें हार्ट की प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती। और मजे की बात डॉक्टर संदीप ये है कि जब आप मेरे पास आओ, मैं कहता हूँ जी आपका ये जो छाती का दर्द है, पहली बार तो आप आते हुए कहते हो डॉक्टर साहब देखो मेरे हार्ट में पेन है। मैं आपसे कहता हूँ जी पहले तो आप ये कहो कि छाती में दर्द है, दिल में है कि नहीं है, तो हम बताएंगे। आप खुद ही कहने आ जाते हैं। अच्छा, दूसरा मजे की बात यह है कि अगर आपकी सारी जांच वगैरह करके हम कह दें पक्का कि भाई आपको दिल से संबंधित ये लक्षण नहीं है, आधे लोगों का तो मूड खराब हो जाता है। जैसे आपने कहा अच्छा डॉक्टर कुछ नहीं निकला, अरे कुछ नहीं निकला है, खुश होकर घर जाओ, दान करते हुए प्रभु को धन्यवाद दो, किसी दिन तो निकलेगा। जब तक नहीं निकला तब तक खैर मनाओ। पर अब यह है कि कई बार हम जरूरत से ज्यादा आतंकित हो जाते हैं और अपने अजीब व गरीब लक्षणों से प्रेम भी कर बैठते हैं। हम उन लक्षणों से मुक्त होना भी नहीं चाहते कई बार, क्योंकि उसी लक्षणों की वजह से कहीं ना कहीं आपको मानसिक तौर पे कहीं ना कहीं कुछ सुकून मिल रहा होता है। ये एक एक्सट्रीम है। दूसरा एक्सट्रीम भी है कि बहुत से ऐसे भी लोग हैं जिनको तकलीफ है एक्चुअल में, और वो गैर समझ के घर ही बैठे और वो दिखाना ही नहीं चाहते, वो डिनाइल में ही है। ये दूसरा एक्सट्रीम है, ये भी गलत है। तो कब माने कि अपने को, आपने जैसे प्रश्न पूछा, तो उसके 2 चीजें हैं, एक तो होता है अनजाना, एक होता है हार्ट अटैक। तो अनजाना में तो ये है कि चले और देखे, वॉक एंड वॉच। अगर आप, मैं नॉर्मली कहता हूँ 40 मिनट में 3 किलोमीटर अगर आप चल रही और चलने के दौरान छाती में दर्द की वजह से, और ना कि घुटने के दर्द, ना कि सांस फूलना, छाती में दर्द के भारीपन की वजह से रास्ते में आपको रुकना नहीं पड़ रहा है, बाएं लाल आप ठीक हो, तो एक हो गया वॉक एंड वॉच, चले और देखें। मैंने अपनी ओपनी में बड़े बड़े अक्षरों में एक ऐसा कार्टून बना के रखा हुआ है, चले और देखिए वॉक एंड वॉच। एक बार ऐसे हम टॉप में किसी पूछे थे, उसने पीछे वाले ने खड़ा के पूछा डॉक्टर साहब किसको देखूं? मैं किसको नहीं देखना, खुद के लक्षण देखने, वॉक एंड वॉच। दूसरा है एकाएक तेज छाती में दर्द हो, पसीना आ जाए, घबराहट हो, अब ये हृदय का कभी लक्षण हो सकता है। ऐसे मौके पे सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आपके ऑफिस या आपके घर के नजदीक कौन सी ऐसी जगह है जहां पर 24 घंटे ईसीजी की सुविधा हो। आपको कोई बड़े अस्पताल जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर तुरंत ऐसे वक्त ईसीजी कर लिया जाए तो 90% केसेस में अगर नजरियात है तो ईसीजी में आ जाएगा। फिर आप भले ही बेशक उसको अपने डॉक्टर किसी और डॉक्टर को व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हो, भेज सकते हो, पर ईसीजी तो कराइए। तो ये कुछ तरीके हैं जिससे आपको फायदा हो सकता है।
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. So this was a brief, like medicine and beyond का medicine वाला part. Now let's go to the beyond part. So, you all might have heard about Dalai Lama, of course. Let us see briefly.
On behalf of Tibetans inside and outside Tibet, happy 80th birthday, Your Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Thank you for your leadership and for your lifelong commitment to contribute to human happiness and promote universal responsibility, to foster religious harmony worldwide, to safeguard Tibet's culture and environment.
जन्मदिन की हार्दिक बधाई हो।
Buen aniversaire.
Sana helwa ya Dalai Lama.
Feliz cumpleaños. С днем рождения.
You are a wonderful, wonderful gift to the world. I want to wish you the most gloriously happy birthday.
Thank you. So this book is essentially written, as I told you last time, when Desmond Tutu, the Archbishop, he met Dalai Lama and he went to Dhamshala and they met for 7 days, and the writer, he witnessed these two persons talking. तो वो 7 दिन का जो इनका आपस का जो ये लोग मिले उसका विवरण है। 2015 में this happened, 2015, and Dalai Lama, of course, is still alive. Now he's 87. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, he expired few years ago. Thank you, Mr. Sohani Sahab. This was December 13, 2022. Sohani Sahab, let's give a big hand to him. It was so thoughtful. It was so thoughtful that he thought that I should read this book, and here we are for the concluding part. Friends, this is what we discussed last time. We all discussed that. इनकी जो slides थी वो मैंने ग्रुप में डाली है. I am sure that I have included all of you in that group. आप में से कोई छूटा हुआ है तो आप मुझे बता दीजिएगा, हम डाल देंगे. तो उसमें मैंने अब आजकल अपने टॉक्स की स्लाइड्स डालना शुरू कर दी है. And as I mentioned, there is no copyright. You can edit those slides and reuse them wherever you want to use them. Today we are going to talk about this part. How beautiful is this? So you would love to read and to go through these 8 pillars of joy. Briefly, I would like to tell you the 11 points of part 1, because maybe few of you were not there in part 1, and then we'll come to the part 2. So, first thing that he spoke was about 1 billion people in this world do not believe, are not believers. So he says, Dalai Lama says, the religious faith is important, but it should not be essential to behave good or to have a beautiful life. So it is important, but religious faith, one should not be completely dependent कि believers ही अच्छे होते हैं, non-believers भी अच्छे हो सकते हैं. Second point was, too much of self-centered thinking is the source of suffering. और इस पॉइंट को तो उन्होंने बार बार हाईलाइट किया है कि जब आपको सारी प्रॉब्लम्स खुद की लगने लग जाए बड़ी बड़ी, तो फिर तो उस प्रॉब्लम उसको सॉल्व करना बड़ा मुश्किल है. सो बहुत ज्यादा सेल्फ सेंटर्ड हमारा जो बिहेवियर होता है, दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. एंड जॉय इज आवर एसेंशियल नेचर. वी नीड टू रीडिस्कवर इट. व्हेन वी depend on where we put our attention, on our own suffering or that of others, our own perceived separation or on our indivisible connection. How do we look at the world? Are we separate entities or we are connected? Third point in the first part was this very interesting concept, hedonic treadmill or adaptation. तो उसमें उन्होंने एग्जांपल लिया कि आपने एक मर्सिडीज कार ली, आपका एकदम से हैप्पीनेस कर्व जो है ऊंचा पहुंच जाता है और कुछ समय बाद वो वापस बेसलाइन पे आ जाता है, और ये जल्दी से बेसलाइन पे आ जाएगा अगर पड़ोसी ने उससे भी अच्छा मॉडल ले लिया तो. सो देयरफॉर इट डजंट रियली लास्ट लॉन्ग. यू गेट अडॉप्टेड. जितनी भी आप चीजें करोगे लाइफ में, आपके साथ में जो भी होता है वो फिर आपको अडॉप्ट करके आप वापस बेसलाइन पे आ जाओगे, फिर आप कुछ और ट्राई करोगे, फिर बेसलाइन पे आ जाओगे. सो दिस इज हेडोनिक ट्रेडमिल. So happiness with time can go up and down, but then there is by and large most of us short till you drop. वो इसी तरह का है. The fourth point of the first part was that what is it like to wake up with joy? सुबह सुबह हमारे दिमाग में क्या आना चाहिए? तो वो कहते हैं पहला तो आना चाहिए deep sense of gratitude. फिर आना चाहिए self intention for the set intention for the day, that the day should be meaningful. Now what is meaningful? Then he says meaningful means I should be able to serve and help others. So you need to find opportunities कि कैसे हम दूसरों को हेल्प कर पाएंगे. At least I should not do anything to harm others. तो अगर आप मदद भी नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो आज हार्म तो नहीं करूंगा, इतना तो सोच लो. पांचवा पॉइंट फर्स्ट पार्ट का ये था that we should appreciate more things. तो उन्होंने आर्च बिशप का राइटर ने बताया कि आर्च बिशप की बड़ी आदत थी. कैन यू लाइट्स डाउन यहां की थोड़ी सी दिस पार्ट. आर्च बिशप ने ही नेवर मिस्ड एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू थैंक समवन. ही ऑलवेज अप्रिशिएटेड. उसको अगर टिश्यू पेपर दिया तो भी वाह वंडरफुल, सूप आया वंडरफुल, सो दैट इज हाउ इट्स ब्यूटीफुल, इट्स लवली, यू आर वंडरफुल. और वो सारे समय ऐसे ही बात करते थे. तो राइटर ने उसको नोट किया कि आर्च बिशप का ये बिल्कुल तकिया कलाम था, हर चीज के अंदर वंडरफुल, वाओ, ब्यूटीफुल ऐसे करते थे. देन द पॉइंट नंबर 6, आई थिंक आप लोगों ने, कुछ लोगों को याद होगा ये एक्सपेरिमेंट. तो उन्होंने मतलब ये बताया कि भाई मंकीज डेफिनेटली फील एनवियस, बट वी आर नॉट मंकीज एनीमोर, राइट. तो वो जब मंकीज देखते हैं कि उनको ऐसा लगता है कि यार बराबर का काम कर रहा हूं, और शुरू में तो मेरे को इतना काम किया था तो मुझे एक ककड़ी मिल जाती थी तो ही वॉज हैप्पी. लेकिन जब वो देखता है कि अब बगल वाले बंदर को वही काम करने में ग्रेप मिल रहा है, अब उसको ककड़ी पसंद नहीं है. देखो जरा.
This became a very famous study, and there's now many more because after we did this about 10 years ago, it became very well known. And we did that originally with capuchin monkeys, and I'm going to show you the first experiment that we did. It has now been done with dogs and with birds and with chimpanzees, but with Sarah Brosnan we started out with capuchin monkeys. So what we did is we put two capuchin monkeys side by side. Again, these animals, they live in a group, they know each other. We take them out of the group, put them in a test chamber. And there's a very simple task that they need to do. And if you give both of them cucumber for the task, the two monkeys side by side, they're perfectly willing to do this 25 times in a row. So cucumber, even though it's really only water in my opinion, but cucumber is perfectly fine for them. Now if you give the partner grapes, the food preferences of my capuchin monkeys correspond exactly with the prices in the supermarket. And so if you give them grapes, it's a far better food, then you create inequity between them. So that's the experiment we did. Recently, we videotaped it with new monkeys who had never done the task, thinking that maybe they would have a stronger reaction, and that turned out to be right. The one on the left is the monkey who gets cucumber. The one on the right is the one who gets grapes. The one who gets cucumber, note that the first piece of cucumber is perfectly fine. The first piece she eats. Then she sees the other one getting grape, and you will see what happens. So she gives a rock to us, that's the task. And we give her a piece of cucumber and she eats it. The other one needs to give a rock to us. And that's what she does. And she gets a grape. And she eats it. The other one sees that. She gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber. She tests the rock now against the wall. She needs to give it to us. And she gets cucumber again.
Then the writer says, मतलब जो किताबों में जो रेफरेंस थे, मैं फिर नेट पे गया, फिर मैंने नेट पे उनको ढूंढा कि एग्जैक्टली क्या था, and that is how I have brought this, so that you can correlate what is written and actually that is there in the on the net. So ये वीडियो मिल गया मुझे. Seventh point was discussed was mudita, and we discussed this in the earlier book as well, that mudita is like when you feel happy when others are happy. So that is absolutely opposite of Schadenfreude. So you see a bigger house or a car of your friend, can you see this? Can you say this? आप अभी मन में बोलिए, प्लीज रीड इट. ये बोलने की आदत करिए. मे ही बी हैप्पी, आई कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट, भले ही वो आपका दुश्मन है जो भी है, इसको आदत करिए, बोलने को स्वीकार करिए, कोई बात नहीं यार, अच्छा कर रहा है, गुड फॉर हिम. Mudita is based on the recognition of our interdependence or Ubuntu. We should not look for isolated comfort. That is the problem. ये उन्होंने हाईलाइट किया कि we look for isolated happiness. वो पॉसिबल नहीं है लंबे समय तक के लिए. Then point number 8, most lives need refining. तो अगर हमारी लाइफ में कुछ अप एंड डाउन हुआ है तो वो रिफाइनिंग के लिए हो रहा है और वो जरूरत होती है. उन्होंने बहुत सारे एग्जांपल दिए कि बहुत सारी लाइफ किसी ना किसी प्रॉब्लम से ही रिफाइन हुई. सो देयर आर नॉट मेनी लाइफ दैट जस्ट मूव स्मूथली फ्रॉम बिगिनिंग टू एंड. तो कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा. सो वी ऑल नीड टू अंडरगो इन सम वे और अदर अ डिमिनिशिंग ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन. All sufferings eventually fade with time and leave us brighter and stronger. This too shall pass. We know this. आइए डॉक्टर पंजाबी सर आइए. अगली बार आप लेट आएंगे, आपको माइक पे गाना सुनाना पड़ेगा. आइए, वेलकम. Then point number 9 was fear of illness. Can you believe, this is such an important topic they have covered. That what is the fear of illness? Illness is one of the most common sources of suffering and adversity that people face, and yet even here some can find meaning and spiritual growth even through illness. The moment you notice a disease, therefore, is it all right? Okay, just keep it like this. The moment you notice a disease, sign of old age, you can either get upset or you can reevaluate and transform your life and decide to be more fully alive for the remaining days. Mortality, as if illness was not enough. So this book also talks about point number 10, how to confront one's mortality. And what he says, prepare yourself well so that you are able to approach death. With what? With this. The best way would be with joy. Second best way would be without fear, at least without too many regrets. So death को तो confront करना है, and this is how we need to prepare ourselves. And the last point, friends, that he talked about meditation. Today also, when I cover up all the 8 topics, we'll briefly have this part covered up. But then he says that the real secret of freedom is having a space between a stimulus and our response. ये बहुत सारी किताबों में बहुत सारे दार्शनिकों ने ये मेंशन किया है कि एक स्पेस होना चाहिए so that you can witness, ताकि हम उसको देख सकें. तो वो आपको जगह तो चाहिए देखने के लिए, तो थोड़ा तो दूर होना पड़ेगा. So that is what you can gain through meditation. Meditation seems to elongate this pause and help our ability to choose our response instead of reacting. So now we are able to respond. Won't we like a momentary pause between our spouse's annoyed words and our own angry or hurt reaction? This will always help us. नहीं, इधर नहीं देखना है, इधर देखना है क्या है, वो भी आपकी तरफ ही देख रही है. Friends, so that was part 1. Okay, now let us come to the today's topic, and today's topic is this part 2, and these are the 8 pillars of joy that we are going to sail through right now. So 4 of them are actually qualities of mind and 4 of them are qualities of heart. तो माइंड से शुरू करते हैं. आपको बड़ा आनंद आएगा दोस्तों कि कैसे हम एक क्वालिटी से दूसरी क्वालिटी में स्लिप करने वाले हैं. I mean, how beautifully they are connected. So I mean, we'll show you that, but you are going to see how perspective leads to humility, that leads to humor, that leads to acceptance, and so on and so forth. Okay, ready? Let's go. Perspective. Possibly the most important part to start, of course, is the perspective. मुझे लगता है अगर ये सीख लें हम लोग तो बहुत सारी चीजें अपने आप सेट हो जाए आगे की. पर्सपेक्टिव का बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. तो so you see, when things go as we want, we can pretend to be special, but when unexpected things happen, we are forced to act like normal human beings. Why wait for a fruit to topple? You can even otherwise be a normal human being. So humility helps you and the world also, because now you become easily approachable, easily connected to others, and you become more effective in whatever you do. Now, humility is not something that you can claim to have. Oh, I've got a lot of humility. Okay, you understand that? Yeah. You know, I have a lot of humility. You better understand that. ऐसा तो मुश्किल है. So, you cannot say I am proud of my humility. तो उन्होंने बताया कि एक बहुत ही बिशप था, एक हम्बल बिशप का उन्होंने एक स्टोरी बताया. कि बताया कि उसने एक क्लास ली, ह्यूमिलिटी पे क्लास लिया, और क्लास में बहुत अच्छा लगा स्टूडेंट्स को. तो एक स्टूडेंट बाद में आया उनके पास कि सर हमको ना लाइब्रेरी में हम जा रहे हैं, हम ऐसा लगता है कि इस सब्जेक्ट पे तो हमको एक किताब पढ़ना चाहिए अच्छी. अरे अरे कहां जा रहे हो, इस पे सबसे अच्छी किताब तो मैंने लिखी है. राइट. सो ही सेज बाय द वे आई हैव रिटन द बेस्ट बुक ऑन दिस सब्जेक्ट. So that tells you how. Then there is another test of humility, and this Archbishop himself is telling. So he was traveling once in flight. ठीक है, तो उसको फ्लाइट अटेंडेंट आई और उसने कहा कि अरे सर वो जो पीछे इकोनॉमी क्लास में कुछ लोग बैठे, उनमें से कुछ लोगों ने आपको रिकॉग्नाइज कर लिया है, तो ना ये किताब पे आपके सिग्नेचर चाहिए, जरा ऑटोग्राफ चाहिए सर प्लीज. तो आर्च बिशप कहते हैं, oh wow, you know, after all they understand and they appreciate what I have been doing. So I try to look humble and modest, although I felt good thinking that she recognized me and my good work. However, as soon as he took out his pen, she said, "You are Bishop Muzurova, right?" So we need to understand that we are just a normal person, and that reminds me of my MD days, as I was, taking leave for my marriage. I was telling my juniors, या तुम इसका ये ध्यान रख लेना, इसका ये ध्यान रख लेना, इसका ये ध्यान रख लेना, इसका डिस्चार्ज बना देना. एंड सडनली डॉक्टर संजय गुजराती इज नॉट हियर टुडे. और भरत इधर आओ तुम. मैंने कहा यस सर. वो देखो ऊपर छत पे क्या है. मैंने कहा सर ये तो छिपकली है. तो कहते हैं यार ये छिपकली भी ना यही सोच रही है कि मैं हटी और छत गिरी. यार तुम्हारे छुट्टी पे जाने से एमवाई अस्पताल बंद नहीं होने वाला है, तुम सुकून से जाओ. यू आर जस्ट लाइक दिस लिजर्ड. आई कैन नेवर फॉरगेट दैट. सो वी नीड टू लर्न टू टेक थिंग्स इजी. एंड यू नो दलाई लामा सीम्स टू अम्यूज बाय एवरीथिंग दैट. सो यू विल गेट अम्यूज्ड ओनली if you are humble. You know, a humble person will have this tendency to get amused. Wow, beautiful, wonderful. You will appreciate if you have that humbleness inside you. हमारे पापा हमेशा ये कहते हैं, we need to also see that can we appreciate everything around us. So we need to take pleasure in whatever is going on. Of course we can improve things, but don't take it too personally. He does not seem to take offense at anything, whatever was happening. He even once pulled the beard of Juan, our sound technician, and everyone giggled. और दलाई लामा ने कहा, देखो आज तुम मेरे साउंड टेक्नीशियन हो और मैं दलाई लामा हूं, क्या पता अगले जन्म में हमारे रोल बदल जाए. You know, when I read this, I thought, is it really possible Dalai Lama is pulling somebody's beard? Friends, you would be surprised what you are going to see next. I think Dalai Lama really enjoys doing that. Look at this. This is what I found on net. This is what I found. Can you believe that? Looks like everybody he meets, he checks whether there is a beard or not and he will start pulling. ये किताब में नहीं है ऑफ कोर्स, ये तो मैंने ऐसे नेट पे ढूंढ रहा था मैं. So the Tibetan saying is, the wisdom is like rainwater, both of them they gather at low places. If you can remain humble, then there is a possibility that you will learn. A humble person does not even mind even laughing at oneself. Oh, that means we are just talking about humor now. Right? Let's go to point number 3. There we are. Humor. One of the measures of quality of our life is the time we spend with humor or in laughing. ओशो ने एक बार कहा कि आम तौर पे गधे हंसते नहीं है, हंसना मनुष्य का स्वभाव है. फिर उन्होंने ये भी कहा, लेकिन कभी आप अगर ये देख लो कि गधा भी हंसने की तैयारी में है, तो सोच लेना कि शायद इंसान बनने की तैयारी में. और अगर कभी किसी इंसान को आपने देखा उसने हंसना बंद कर दिया है, तो आप सोचो कि वो क्या बनने की तैयारी में. आप डॉक्टर रवि तोषी हैं. डॉक्टर साहब जरा खड़े हो जाए, इनके लिए तालियां बजाइए. जो इनको नहीं जानते, इनको आज इनका देखिए, इनका चैनल, और देखिए वो कैसे हंसाते हैं लोगों को. थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर. I just love this man. Wholehearted laughter, not the artificial laughter, is very good for our heart and health in general. Humor and laughter would need humility. The best is to be able to laugh at oneself. और एक और चीज लिखिए, जब आप किसी दोस्त पे आप हंस सकते हो, तो आप उसके साथ ये प्रूव कर रहे हो कि भैया मुझे तुम पे इतना ट्रस्ट है कि तुम्हें मुझ पे इतना ट्रस्ट है कि मैं तुम पे हंस सकता हूं, तभी आप हंस पाओगे. Once we can see the life in its wider perspective, once we can be humble and have some degree of humility, and once we can take ourselves lightly and even laugh, then we can easily accept our life in its all imperfection, pain and beauty. Friends, that is acceptance. Point number 4, incidentally, so we come to point number 4, that is acceptance. Acceptance is not same as resignation or defeat. Acceptance, we cannot succeed by denying what exists, of course. The acceptance of reality is the only place from where you can begin the change. We discussed about serenity prayer. Papa keeps telling me about serenity prayer. It's almost 100 years old and it is beautiful. Then there is a mention of a book. Apparently the first English book written by a lady writer. And I checked on net again. I don't agree with anything that I just read. And if you Google first English book written by a female author, this comes up. So this is the book and this is the correctly mentioned book. First book, almost 1000 years old. और उसका एक पेज का एक पैराग्राफ है बहुत ही खूबसूरत. देखिए क्या लिखा है. Deeds are done which appear so evil to us, and people suffer such terrible evils that it does not seem as though any good will ever come out of them. इस तरह की चीजें हो जाती है लाइफ में, क्या आपको लगेगा कि इतना खराब कैसे हो रहा है? We, sorrowing and grieving over it, cannot find peace in the blessed contemplation of God as we should actually do. And this is why our reasoning powers are so blind that we cannot know the high, marvelous wisdom that might and the goodness of the Holy Trinity. कि उसके खेल का हमको अंदाजा नहीं होता है. इतना अच्छा लिखा है इसमें. He said, you shall see for yourself that all manner of things shall be well. As if he said, pay attention to this now, faithfully and confidently, and at the end of the time, you will see it in the fullness of joy. So non-acceptance is the suffering. Most of our suffering comes because we are resisting to what is. Meditative practices allow us to be quiet, and it will quieten the distracting thoughts and feelings. The ability to be present in each moment is nothing more and nothing less than the ability to accept the uncertainty, vulnerability, and even sometimes discomfort of everyday life. Let us just accept it. ये होना है. Yeah, we can keep the door closed now. So acceptance also shifts our focus from future, from the goal, and allow us to be at the ease with the current moment. अब देखो ना कितनी सारी किताबें हैं करंट मोमेंट पे, वर्तमान में जिए, वर्तमान में द पावर ऑफ नाउ एंड ऑल दैट. Once we are more in now, our efforts lead to an unexpected outcome that might even be better than what we originally had in our mind. By the way, मुझे पता है कि आप सब लोग का ऊपर करके गर्दन तो नहीं दुख रहा ना? You see, the point is, I asked him कि ये थोड़ा सा नीचे हो सकता है. उसने कहा कि सर ये मैक्सिमम नीचे है. मैंने कहा और कितना ऊपर ले जाएगा भाई इसको? But you know what, friends, I thought, again, the way you look at it, perspective. मुझे ऐसा लगा कि दिन भर आप लोग अपने कंप्यूटर पे और फोन पे रहे होंगे, तो गर्दन आपकी दिन भर ऐसी थी, तो थोड़ी देर के लिए थेरापेटिक ऐसे हो जाए, तो शायद आधे घंटे के अंदर ये न्यूट्रल हो जाएगा, राइट? सो ये आपकी गर्दन के लिए भी अच्छा है. Once we accept the present, now we can forgive and release the pains of our past. That is point number 5, incidentally. So then we go to the qualities of heart. We are now entering the point number 5, that is forgiveness. So we have talked about perspective, humility, humor, and acceptance. Now it becomes easy to forgive.
You don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to become a friend to the Dalai Lama. It just happens. You see, he's not listening.
I will not listen.
Behave like a holy man.
How are you doing, everyone? Are we ready?
People innately are good, you know.
All have same sort of desire to have happy life, happy day, happy month.
When we kept quiet, our hearts discovered that they were kindred.
Our religion is something unique and something very special.
Dalai Lama was not given visa to celebrate Desmond Tutu's 80th birthday to go to South Africa. So therefore Desmond Tutu came after 4 years. And that is how this book was born. Forgiveness. Freeing ourselves from the pains of the past. Basically whatever happened. Forgiveness does not mean that you forget the past. We need to learn from the past. Of course we need to learn. It only means that you are no more in a negative or reactive mood. Forgiveness is the only way to heal ourselves and to be able to move ahead. यहाँ पे जितने psychologists अगर कोई हैं, they understand that we all carry a pain body. That is also written in the New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, that we carry a pain body within us and we need to heal that. Unfortunately, often the people that we have the hardest time forgiving are the people who are closest to us. कभी कभी मेरे मन में ऐसा होता है कि मैं सोचता हूं कि अगर एटलीस्ट इंडिया के अंदर अगर 20 मैरिड वुमेन से पूछा जाए कि आपकी लाइफ में सबसे ज्यादा आंसू किसकी वजह से आए और सबसे ज्यादा आपका नजदीक वाला भी कौन है, दोनों का आंसर एक ही हो जाएगा. Not our intention though. There's a small story, friends, I want to share. Anthony Hinton. He spent 30 years in jail for crime that he did not commit. इसका reference था, again I googled it. I found out the entire story and here it is. Briefly. 30 साल उसको ऐसे क्राइम के लिए जेल में रखा गया जो उसने नहीं किया था. And it was proven beyond doubt कि oh sorry, we kept you for wrong reasons. Now he comes out and there was an interview taken on American television, 60 minutes. So they asked him, they took 30 years of your life. How can you not be angry? If I was angry and unforgiving, they would have taken the rest of my life also. That was the answer. He said, no, I refuse to indulge into that anymore. Otherwise, I will never be released from that jail. And this part, those of you who were there, again on forgiveness, we discussed last time briefly. तो दोस्तों, डेस्मंड टूटू के 4 बच्चे थे, 4 and they were having a great life in UK. And anti-apartheid movement के लिए he takes a decision to move to South Africa. And his wife was vehemently against it. She said, ऐसे घटिया जगह कहां जा रहे हो जहां पर the life is hell. And let us just stay in UK and live, and at least our children. Desmond Tutu did not listen to his wife. He said, no, there's a calling, I have to go and help my people. And of course, Desmond Tutu then became such a big hero and got a Nobel Prize and everything. Now the writer teases him. So on one occasion, the writer asked Archbishop about his decision to return to South Africa from England, an event that had profound implication on the anti-apartheid movement, freeing his country, but also painful consequences for his wife, Leah. Certainly it caused Leah enormous pain. I asked Archbishop if he had ever apologized to his wife for the pain his decision had caused. But Archbishop defended, नहीं भाई वो तो जरूरी था, मुझे तो जाना था, how could I avoid it? लेकिन वो राइटर ने छोड़ा नहीं. चलो आपका डिसीजन ठीक था, फिर भी आपको सॉरी तो कहना चाहिए था ना अपनी वाइफ को. That's what he said. Archbishop now paused. It was one of the most profound examples of what a wonderful meditative life can give us a pause. And then what he did, after a few months or few weeks, Archbishop wrote a letter to the writer and said that I discussed this issue with my wife and I apologized to her. She told him that she had forgiven him a long ago. मैं तो बहुत पहले तुमको माफ कर चुकी. So marriages, even the best ones, perhaps especially the best ones, survive with ongoing process of spoken and unspoken forgiveness. Then there is another part to it, and there is a forgiveness. There was an issue with his father. Apparently, Archbishop के जो पिताजी थे, वो भी मैंने पूरी कहानी पढ़ी. He was a violent person, especially when he was drunk. He used to misbehave with his mother, with his wife, Archbishop's mom. So Archbishop was very upset and angry with his father, and he used to say कि मेरी तो इच्छा होती है पर मैं इससे छोटा हूं, रोकूं कैसे कि मेरी मां के साथ इतना बदसलूकी करते हैं when he is drunk. So he was very upset with his dad. Archbishop, once you told me that you were deeply hurt the way your father treated your mother when he was drunk. Was it difficult to forgive him? Now Archbishop replies. He closes his eyes and says very quietly and slowly, I was very angry with myself that I was so small. I was too small to beat him up. But I have another regret and I wish my father forgives me for that. हाँ? आपको क्यों माफी मांगनी है पापा से? And the story, friends, is that एक बार ऐसा हुआ कि आर्चबिशप अपनी वाइफ के साथ ब्रीफली अपने पापा से मिलने गया, तो उसके पापा ने कहा कि बेटे रुक जाओ, मुझे तुमसे कुछ और बात कहना है. So he said, enough daddy, I have to go and I just cannot sit with you anymore. You already have a drink in your hands and you just enjoy that life. And enough is enough, I'm leaving. He left. Next morning, Archbishop got to know that his father died that night. And he says that his mom told him later on that he wanted to apologize to me the way I misbehaved with your mom. And I did not allow my dad to vent out that emotion before his death. My daughter Kavya, she is not here today, but when I was talking to her, she said, Daddy, on forgiveness, I don't agree with you on one thing, that you just cannot say sorry and that's enough. So she says, Papa, asking for an apology, and the sixth pillar, and that is gratitude. Friends, see wonder and beauty in each experience. That is the core aspect of joy. Yes, Daddy, I know what you are going to say. What is that, Daddy? Which sense? Which sense you are talking? Sorry? Seven sense, that's right. So Papa talks about seven sense. And this is, Daddy, your slide, seven sense, Dr. K.S. Rawat. He talks about ability to see beauty in everything around. We should try to develop that sense. तो पांच सेंस तो हमें पता है. छठा सेंस की कभी कभी बात होती है, एक्स्ट्रा सेंसरी परसेप्शन, टेलीपैथी और whatever you call it. But sometimes we can also think of developing another sense, another ability of sensing beauty in everything around. Can we see some good thing in that angle? So what is the difference between acceptance and gratitude? Can anybody tell? Acceptance and gratitude, are they same, similar, or they are slightly different? So anyway, they are slightly different. Why? Yeah, correct. Let's give a big hand to Kashyap Saab. Great, lovely. It is slightly beyond acceptance. In what way? Actually, this is acceptance is not fighting, not resisting the reality, and gratitude is embracing the reality. So you are actually hugging the reality. So you are right. It is a little beyond acceptance. So acceptance we are not resisting, but gratitude we are hugging the reality. ऐसा किताब में लिखा है, तो मैं तो किताब का ही बोल रहा हूँ. Joy is the happiness that does not depend on what happens. It is the grateful response to the opportunity that life offers you at this moment. The world cannot give you your joy, and so it cannot take away either. कितना अच्छा है. दुनिया के हाथ में ना देना लिखा है ना लेना लिखा है. दुनिया ना जॉय दे सकता है, दुनिया ना जॉय ले सकता है. When you are grateful, you act out of sense of enough. कि मेरे पास बहुत है तभी आप grateful हो. Then you are not fearful, you are not violent, you feel connected. Oh, and then they talk about a beautiful term called rejoice. Rejoice. ये बड़ा अच्छा एक उन्होंने पैराग्राफ लिखा है rejoice के ऊपर. Rejoice in your good deeds and those of others. Rejoicing predisposes us to repeat those good things again. है ना? So ये मेरा formula है, do good, feel good, and then it carries on. So you do good, you feel good, you do good again, you feel good again, and it can become a cycle. So it is an important thing to do good, but it is also important to feel good so that you do good again. Then simple act of smiling. अब आप सबसे निवेदन है, एक दूसरे की तरफ देखिए और स्माइल करिए. Yeah, look at each other and smile. Yeah. Smile. Great. Gratitude keeps a smile on our face. Act of smile for as little as 20 seconds triggers release of feel-good cocktail of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine and endorphins. 20 सेकंड की स्माइल से भी फर्क पड़ता है. Moreover, smiling is contagious. Unfortunately, there is a default mode of our brain. Negative bias was an advantageous mode of our brain earlier. पहला, जब हम लोग बिल्कुल रिस्की कंडीशन में रहते थे कि हमेशा तैयार रहो, हमेशा चौकन्ने रहो, कभी कोई आके पीछे से. अनफॉर्चुनेटली अभी भी हम वैसे ही हैं. अभी भी हम ऐसे ही डरे हुए सोचते रहते हैं, जरूर इसका कुछ गड़बड़ मतलब है, इतना हंस क्यों रहा है साला, इतना कुछ कर क्यों रहा है, जरूर इसका कुछ मतलब होगा, इसका मेरे से इतनी दोस्ती क्यों कर रहा है, ये रावत इतनी किताबें क्यों पढ़ रहा है, जरूर कुछ गड़बड़. Now that physical trauma and danger is much less, we don't need to be all that suspicious all the time. है ना, पर हम लोग सस्पिशियस अभी भी वैसे के वैसे ही रह गए. Gratitude cuts across this default mode of our mind. When we recognize that all that we have been given, it's our natural response to become more compassionate. Friends, here we come to the point number 7, compassion. तो 8 पिलर्स में से 7वें पिलर पे पहुंच गए. Too much of self, ये तो शुरू में हमने बात कही थी. Too much of self-centered thinking is the source of suffering. So what is compassion? Compassion is a sense of concern with others suffering and feel motivated to see that the suffering is relieved. ये भी मैं पूछ सकता था compassion और empathy में क्या अंतर है. तो आपको एक ऐसा फीलिंग हो सकता है कि यार दूसरों के साथ कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है तो आपको भी बुरा लगे, ठीक है, लेकिन उस गड़बड़ को आप सॉल्व करने की भी कोशिश करने लग जाओ. दैट इज कंपैशन. उनका दूसरों का दर्द महसूस किया, दैट इज नॉट इनफ. उसके दर्द को दूर करने का भी प्रयास कर रहे हैं, which may not be always possible. It probably takes many years of monastic practice to equal the spiritual growth required for one sleepless night of a mother with her sick child. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand to all the mothers of this. और आप देखो कि ये ऐसे लोग हैं जो हर जगह पे मीनिंग ढूंढ लेते हैं. देखो ना, इस किताब में ये जो एग्जांपल्स मैं बता रहा हूं, मी एंड यू may just see and just forget it. Suffering and joy cannot be individual. So a compassionate attitude is not optional. It's not optional. Even for the kings and queens, survival depends on the rest of the community. So if we want to be happy with fewer problems, we need to develop a serious concern for the well-being of others. If there is a possibility to help, help. If there is no possibility to help, at least pray and wish them well. Then there is a talk about another experiment. उन्होंने कहा कि एक चूहे को चोट लगी तो दूसरा चूहा उसको लिक करता है, और लिक करने से कुछ हो कि नहीं हो लेकिन वो ठीक तो होता है. तो उसने पूछा, अच्छा उससे हीलिंग होती है, पर जिसने लिक किया उसका क्या होता है? तो बोला उसको भी फायदा होता है. इवन द अदर वन हैज अ कामर स्टेट ऑफ माइंड. दैट वाज आल्सो एक्सपेरिमेंटली कंफर्म. तो जिसने लिक किया उसको भी एडवांटेज है. Even in the midst of your deep anguish, if you can offer help to someone, it's got an alchemy that will transform your pain. It may not take it away, but it may become more bearable. Another experiment. उसमें किसी ने एक ये एक्सपेरिमेंट किया दोस्तों कि कंपैशनेट एटीट्यूड का बहुत आगे उसका इंपैक्ट जाता है. कहां तक इंपैक्ट जाता है? अप टू 3 degrees ऑफ सेपरेशन. मतलब यह कि अगर आपने कुछ एक कंपैशनेट एक्ट किया जिसके साथ, अब आपकी एब्सेंस में उसकी खुद की इच्छा होगी किसी के लिए करे, और जिसके लिए करेगा उसकी भी इच्छा होगी वो किसी के लिए करे, और फिर वो भी एक बार करे, तो उसका इंपैक्ट ऐसे चेन रिएक्शन के रूप में 3 सेपरेशन तक जाता है. So if you are kind and compassionate, your friends' friends, and even their friends are more likely to be kind and compassionate. Even this is contagious. Even a 10-minute of meditation on the well-being of others can help you. So we obviously have this thing, and I guess this is great. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. A natural outgrowth of compassion, of course, is, friends, last point of the 8 pillars, generosity. Let's be generous then. Now that we are filled with joy, you can only give once you know that you have it. Right? Once you are grateful, you are compassionate, and once you are compassionate, you are generous. In different languages, there are different words, but every religion talks about it. Then it mentions about Dead Sea. और मैंने पढ़ा डेड सी का पूरा. It says Dead Sea is why dead. Anybody? Of course, everybody knows. उसमें कुछ वेजिटेशन भी नहीं होता है, फिश भी नहीं होती है. क्यों नहीं होता है? बहुत ज्यादा सलाइन है, बहुत ही ज्यादा सलाइन है. और क्यों इतना ज्यादा सलाइन है? वो नीचे वाले लेवल पे है, उसकी कोई आउटलेट नहीं है, और इसलिए पानी वहीं का वहीं सूखता है और सिर्फ नमक बचता है. तो इसको उन्होंने कैसे ले लिया कि इट रिसीव्स but it does not give. So it receives fresh water, river Jordan देती है इसको, but it has no outlet. So it receives and does not give. We must receive and we must give, otherwise we will become a dead person. Okay, this question: can money buy happiness? The answer is actually yes. इतना easy होता तो कैसे होता? And see part 2. Money can buy happiness, and the answer is big yes. Again, no arguments. मैंने शुरू में ये डिफॉल्ट मोड पे रखा हुआ है, जो किताब में लिखा है वही बोल रहा हूं दोस्तों. आपको अच्छा लगे बुरा लगे वो आप सोचिए, ठीक है? Money can buy happiness, and the answer is yes, but there is a small clause, and the clause is right. Yeah. So it can, if you use it on others. Experiment again and again. I tell you, तो मैं आज आपको सिर्फ किताब नहीं बता रहा हूं. देखो कितनी सारी चीजें आपने गूगल पे से देख ली है. मैं गूगल पे जाके देख कर आया हूं. Spending money on others, it can heal heart, it can reduce the BP medicines, it says. गजब है भाई. So is spending money on others good for your heart? Elizabeth Dunn, you know, she is Department of Psychology, University of British Columbia. फिर मैंने जाके नेट पे जाके पूरा आर्टिकल निकाला. Result: the more money people spent on others, the lower their blood pressure was 2 years later. In study 2, participants who were assigned to spend more money on others for 3 consecutive weeks subsequently exhibited lower systolic and diastolic blood pressure compared to participants who were assigned to spend money on themselves. And these were comparable to the effects of interventions like antihypertensive drugs or even exercise. उसके बराबर का इंपैक्ट मिला. या ये भी पढ़ा मैंने. फर्ज करो दोस्तों कि एक व्यक्ति है, डॉक्टर है और बड़ा एंटरप्रेन्योर है, शायद पीडियाट्रिक न्यूरोसर्जन और इस तरह का कुछ है, और उसने कुछ आइडिया से बहुत पैसा कमाया और कुछ क्रैश के अंदर उसके $75 मिलियन एक हफ्ते में चले गए. लेकिन जाने से पहले वो एक जगह पे अनाउंस कर चुका था कि ये जो मेरा एक्यूरे के जो शेयर हैं, ये जो कंपनी है, ये मैं ना डोनेशन के लिए रख रहा हूं. अब जब वो पूरा बैंकरप्ट हो गया तो उसके लॉयर ने क्या कहा? जेम्स डॉटी है, आप पढ़िए, पीडियाट्रिक न्यूरोसर्जन, मेडिकल टेक्नोलॉजी एंटरप्रेन्योर, promised 30 million for charity, lost everything, 75 million in 6 weeks in year 2000, except the stock of Accuray, which was kept for charity. उस वक्त उसकी मार्केट वैल्यू 30 million थी. Lawyer told him, your circumstances have changed and now you don't need to follow your commitment. What did he do? He kept his words. He said, no, I can't change my words. In 2007, Accuray went public at an evaluation of 1.3 billion. He did not get a penny, of course, because he had already donated everything. And he said in an interview, I have absolutely no regrets and I only sleep better when I get to know that the shares have gone up. I only have a better sleep. Can you believe this? This is the gentleman. And Dalai Lama just said, I will give you a gift, and he hugged him. Let's give a big hand to this man. Sense of purpose and health. Now, this is another thing. It's a beautiful concept कि हमारी लाइफ का पर्पस, आप लोगों ने सबने इकिगाई पढ़ ली होगी, इसलिए मैं इकिगाई को यहां पर पेनवुड एकेडमी इन काठमांडू, स्टोरी ऑफ वुडी स्ट्रॉन्ग. दोस्तों हम लोग 98 में नेपाल गए, वहां पे पहला कार्डियक हॉस्पिटल खोलने. तो मम्मी पापा भी उस वक्त वहीं पे थे और जिस अपार्टमेंट में हम ठहरे थे उसी अपार्टमेंट में इंसिडेंटली एक अमेरिकन कपल आके ठहरा. और मैं तो अस्पताल में बिजी होता था. मम्मी पापा यूज्ड टू मीट दैट अमेरिकन कपल. दे वर विजिटिंग नेपाल. तो ऐसी बातों में उन्होंने पापा को बताया कि उनको कैंसर डायग्नोज हुआ था, प्रोस्टेटिक कैंसर. इट्स ऑल देयर ऑन नेट, मैंने सब जाके ढूंढ लिया है. एक इंडियन अमेरिकन राइटर ने, अभी वो अमेरिकन हो गया है, उसने इसके ऊपर पूरा टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया के अंदर स्टोरी डाली. फिर मैंने उसको भी चेज किया फेसबुक पे, फिर उन्होंने भी मेरे को डिटेल्स भेजे. फिर मैंने नेपाल दोबारा फोन किया. Anyway, so he had only 3 months to live in 1985. एंड देन ही डिसाइडेड कि नहीं यार मैं ना नेपाल जाता हूँ, नेपाल में एटलीस्ट कोई मोनेस्ट्री जाता हूँ. और फिर वहां पे उसने कहा कि मैं स्कूल खोलूंगा. उन्होंने बहुत पैसे इकट्ठे किए, मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स को स्पेंड करके कई स्कूल और किताबें और बहुत सारे बच्चों को उन्होंने पढ़ाना शुरू किया. दिस इज दलाई लामा के साथ में वो खड़े हैं अभी. दिस इज द कपल फ्रेंड्स. आई एम सॉरी बट यू कैन नॉट रीड इट, बट लेट मी टेल. 15 years ही लिव्ड. सेंस ऑफ पर्पस. हम लोग साथ में ही थे उस अपार्टमेंट में 98 के अंदर. There was another story, Papa, you used to tell. I don't know whether you remember. ये बुक में नहीं है. देखा है तो वही. अरे भाई कहां से आ रहे हो? कहां से क्या सर? आपने कहा था कि कल सुबह आ जाना, तो गांव तो जा नहीं सकता था, तो कहां गए? तो यहीं पे पास में एक मंदिर था, वहीं पे जाके लेट गया रात को. तो बोले रात को नींद अच्छी आई. कहां नींद आती? इतनी धूल वगैरह थी, इतनी गंदगी थी, मच्छर वच्छर थे. रात भर जगा रहा और रात भर बैठा बैठा बस यही सोचता रहा कि अब जब यहां से चला जाऊंगा गांव तो अपने आदमियों को इकट्ठा करके इस मंदिर को जरा ठीक करूंगा. इसीलिए दोस्तों वो बच गया. ही गॉट द पर्पस ऑफ हिज लाइफ. दैट्स राइट, पर्पस ऑफ द लाइफ. एब्सोल्युटली. People who live a very, very simple life have a peace that other people may find always elusive. We should realize how obscene it is for us to spend trillions on defense budget. We can be all more peaceful and compassionate and use this money for other basic needs. We may not be able to solve all the massive problems of this earth, but we can start. And the last words were, it is clear that the only way to truly change our world is through teaching compassion, sense of kindness, and genuine regard for others' well-being. Religion has been important but not sufficient. No matter how excellent, no religion can be universal. Joy is the reward of seeking to give joy to others. Joy is the reward of seeking to give joy to others. I will share maybe two or three more videos before I end up. But before that, let me just give you another chance to clap for one of our friends. His work has been just recognized as one of the best works in the excellence in the industrial life. Yes, Anil Satwani, why don't you get up? You know, his work was highlighted in my 3.0 last evening, 2 days ago in Mumbai. Oh, we are so proud of you. Symbiotic has done so well, friends. So Anil, why don't you share with us? What was this?
I really don't know. It's too much an exaggeration.
No.
Maybe,
No.
but,
Your work is highlighted in that very precious book.
yeah, it's basically a pride activity to recognize my work that I've done in this space of steroid and hormones in the last 2.5 decades. And they had a little story in their book and incidentally reached out to...
No, I wanted to put that picture here. I did not have time. But I wanted to put that picture here, but I was like, you know, the last moment I had to do an emergency angioplasty of a 24-year-old boy, friends, today evening. Just before I came here, 24-year-old boy, I had to put a stent in the heart. But anyway, thanks. Let's give a big hand to Anil. What wonderful thing. Those who want to go and see his factory, please go and see his factory. He's a wonderful human being. He'll be very happy and proud person to show what facility you can have at Pithampur of international standards. You know, the FDA people would barge in his office without notice, and you know how difficult it is to satisfy their requirement. Anjali knows, the quality manager, that you know how difficult it is. But then there he is for all his team and his legendary dad. As he talked about simple life, he is the man. He is the senior most doctor possibly sitting here right now, and what a humble person he is.
Dalai Lama. He's the world's most celebrated monk, a Nobel Peace Prize winner and the spiritual leader of 6 million Tibetan Buddhists. A man with a message of compassion and nonviolence so meaningful and so cool, he's been featured in an Apple ad. So, though we'd arranged to meet him, it still seemed a bit otherworldly to see the Dalai Lama,
Your Holiness, I'm Seth Doan,
emerge from a hotel elevator.
Thank you very much. It's nice to meet you.
He's known to cast off formality, and did. The 81-year-old immediately accepted a little support. We met in Poland, where his busy schedule would allow, to discuss the Book of Joy. It's based on a series of conversations he had with an equally celebrated friend.
I saw this picture. It's great. You look like you're going to kiss him.
I told you once, behave like a holy man.
His co-author is South Africa's retired Anglican Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a pillar of his nation's struggle against apartheid. The book they wrote with editor Douglas Abrams explores a topic appropriate to the season: how to live a more joyous life. It's one of 100 or so, yes, 100 books the Dalai Lama has authored or lent his name to.
Why did you want to do a book about joy?
The subject is very good. If some book about sort of anger, about war, I don't want.
But joy, you know something about.
Joy, yes. Oh, happy, not only just on the physical level, but mentally. Peace, compassion. That's real joy.
Everyone have a right to achieve happy life.
The Dalai Lama brings to the topic the perspective and purity of, well, a monk.
You don't drink, you don't smoke, you've taken a vow of celibacy.
Yes.
Is there a lesson for the rest of us in that?
No, I don't think every human being cannot be monk. And if human being becomes celibate, then humanity will cease. So better to have, more reproduction.
So you don't want everyone to be celibate.
His message is simple. Most people look for joy in the wrong places.
Everybody seeks happiness, joyfulness, but from outside, from money, from power, from big car, from big house. Ultimate source of happy life, even physical health, inside, not outside.
It's an inner peace, which he taught himself to find.
Anger, I think, almost gone.
You don't get angry?
No.
Really?
Really?
Something must annoy you.
A little bit. Very temporary, short, some kind of reaction. Otherwise, no ill feeling.
Wow.
Through training, 50, 60 years, analytical meditation.
You get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
To start meditating.
That's right.
And you'll meditate for 4 or 5 hours?
That's right.
You'll do it in a temple or in a hotel room?
Or in car. Now today, I think about 1 hour drive. So in car, occasionally just seeing, looking here and there. In big field, I saw some deers. Very nice.
The deer?
Very nice.
What did you like about it?
Peaceful. Vegetarian, peaceful, very nice.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Holiness. Happy birthday to you. While you live long, may you live long. May your wish be fulfilled. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Holiness. Happy birthday to you. May you live long. May you live long. May your wish be fulfilled. Wait. Happy birthday to you. I'm in charge. Happy birthday to you. Well, His Holiness is about to blow out the candles, but we let's have one of the children come up and help. Can we have one of the children come? Right behind you. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Right, 1, 2, 3. Yes, I'm.
The children will now say grace. So for this, I request Master Tenzin Tapa to please lead the prayer of offering.
So friends, the date of departure was 25th April 2015. Finally, they are returning back. I mean, Desmond Tutu is going back. 45 seconds, the flight took off from Dharamshala. An enormous 7.8 magnitude of earthquake struck in Nepal. I'm sure you heard about it. We were all there, me, my wife. We were there just 45 seconds. That flight took off. About 10,000 people died, millions became homeless. These are a few of the pictures of that earthquake. This is my children and my team. We used to discuss how to handle the situation. We took all the patients out in the parking lot because all the buildings were emptied and these all patients are being treated in parking lot. In fact, I was doing an angioplasty and can you see the holes, the damage in the wall? And all the machines got stuck and stopped while I was in the middle of the procedure. I am very happy that none of my staff left the place. Can you believe? I asked them. The patients' relatives, they left because it was on the 3rd floor. They left. They all went down. And the patient himself held my hand. Doctor साहब आप मत जाना. मैंने कहा मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, पर करने के लिए स्टाफ चाहिए. And then I asked my staff. मैंने कहा आप में से किसी को जाना है तो जाओ, because the earthquake is not like one episode. आप लोगों ने नहीं शायद फेस किया है. Let me tell you, earthquake comes and goes. I mean after shocks आते रहते हैं. तो एक बार हिला, मतलब कम से कम हमने 100 बार हिलते हुए. We used to get these messages. आयो आया नेपाली में. Yes, come again. Yes, hila. Something like that. For many months we used to feel in hila something. But then none of the staff, they all said, sir, आप नहीं जा रहे हो, हम भी नहीं जाएंगे. And we finished the angioplasty and could save that person. There was this great need of compassion and generosity, exactly what was discussed during those last 7 days. It was a great opportunity to deliver. The more we turn away from our self-regard to wipe the tears from the eyes, most worries, sadness, anger and fear are futile. So, I wish today good for all. After all, we are all cousins. Really, perhaps just a few thousand times removed. Otherwise, we are just cousins. We are all related to each other. So, I wish good for everybody, including everyone who is present right now in this hall. Amen. Thank you, friends. So, thank you very much for your time. This is what we could discuss today. Thank you. Can we have lights on, please? कोठारी सर हर चीज को बड़ा सिंप्लीफाइड करके रख देते हैं.
I think these are the words of wisdom which make you mature and perfect in life. So even if you can practice a little bit of it, you will be a better person next time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anybody else wants to say something? Rashika, you want to say something?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Sir, I feel, in my opinion, this is the belongings of a life which we are taking, especially we people in a very young mode of life. And things like acceptance, gratitude, forgiveness. So in young blood, we need to actually ensure that these should be, grabbed more, absorbed more.
Yeah,
so thank you so much for
yeah,
this
thank you
session.
so much. We are, yes, please, Rachit, yes.
Thank you for a wonderful session, sir. As always, it was wonderful. And the thing that what I could sum up is, humans require this planet. The planet doesn't require humans.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
So that was wonderfully portrayed when the Earth was, with or without humans. So when we say that Earth को बचाना है, हमें अपने मतलब को और साधना है, Earth को नहीं बचाना. So that I could understand. And इंसानी exploration क्या है? Just another species. Human being एक another species है, not the supreme power.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Anybody else wants to say anything? Dr. Arvind Rawal? Nikita?
Thank you, sir. It was fantastic. I'm sure everybody knows.
यार हम तो आपके दिखाए हुए पैरों पे चलते हैं, दिखते रहे यार. हमारी मम्मी 5 किलोमीटर. Let's give a big hand to मम्मी. My mom walks 5 kilometers, दोस्तों. She is 77 and it's not 1 year, right? 1 साल हो गया? 1 साल हो गया? Very nice. Thank you so much, Arvind. हाँ बताओ.
But I think हम भूल जाते हैं कि इन पे अमल भी करना है.
याद रखेंगे यार.
We should try to remember and
या अभी इस कमरे से बाहर निकल के याद रखना है. Thank you so much, sir.
we are grateful. जो gratitude एक आपका है, आपके लिए हमारा gratefulness.
अच्छा, thank you. चलो, thank you so much. Yes, Khandelwal साहब.
On a lighter note, early morning, feel gratitude that you have your wife with you when we have.
लवली, रियली बहुत ही लाइटर नोट पे था यार ये तो. चलो जाते जाते एक लाइटर नोट की एक बात मैं कहता हूँ एंड देन वी स्टॉप. दोस्तों ऐसा हुआ कि एक बार एक आदमी बहुत तेजी से साइकिल चला रहा था, उस साइड में एक बेचारा सीधा साधा आदमी था, उसने उसको टक्कर मार दी. वो गिर गया, कपड़े सारे उसके खराब हो गए, गंदे हो गए, मैले हो गए, गिर पड़ा. उसने बड़े गुस्से से उसको देखा तो साइकिल वाला उसके पास आके रुकता है और कहता है खड़े हो जाओ, तुम तो बहुत लकी हो. उस बेचारा आदमी कहता है लकी कहाँ हो, तुमने घेर दिया, कपड़े सारे गंदे हो गए. नहीं लकी तो आप बहुत हो, फिर भी कैसे लकी हूं? इसलिए लकी हो क्योंकि नॉर्मली मैं साइकिल नहीं चलाता हूं, नॉर्मली मैं ट्रक चलाता हूं.